Man Hour Nation, it's time to get shocked. As the Colin Kaepernick saga continues here, he has officially thrown some passes at Michigan spring game. He threw some passes. He looked okay, right? He looked pretty damn good with a quarterback that is a professional athlete or was a professional athlete. Didn't have helmets on, didn't have pads on, had nobody pressuring, and he had his script. Looked okay, right? Threw a couple deep balls that looked, pretty good. If you are a dad throwing to a toddler, right? But hey, we will call a spade at the end of the day. But let's just be honest. Colin Kaepernick is not a good quarterback, guys. He was for a year, the year that he led the 49ers to the Super Bowl in 2013. They lost that Super Bowl, but he went 12-4 that year. Don't get it twisted. He did throw for 58% of his passes for 3,200 yards, 21 touchdowns, 8 interceptions. Not terrible, but since then, 8-8. The following season, 2015, went 2-6. His season ended early with the torn labrum in his non-throwing shoulder, the same injury that Baker Mayfield had this past season that played all season long and whatnot. But hey, we digress from that. And then he was eventually benched in 2016 when he went 1-10. 59% completion ratio, 2,200 yards, 16 touchdowns, 4 interceptions. Not terrible stats, but the win columns were not there. Guys, Colin Kaepernick turns 35 years old this year. November 4th, right? He will turn 35 years old. Some notable other 35-year-old quarterbacks in the league: Tom Brady. Colin Kaepernick is not no Tom Brady. Aaron Rodgers, not Aaron Rodgers either, right? Matt Ryan, not Matt Ryan either. Guys, let's just face it. Nobody wants a 35-year-old quarterback that hasn't played in the league since 2016. Nobody wants the media headache. Nobody wants a has-been quarterback. It is what it is. Sorry to tell you guys this, but it is what it is. Colin Kaepernick will never play in the league again. Nobody wants him. Nobody needs him, not even as a third-string quarterback. Man Hour Nation, cue that intro. Ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that while I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cone. You know who's coming to the stage. Sports talk than what you about to hear right here. I second that.
Go. You know that it's us when we talking about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the core. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, then listen some more. On all your stations, not dropping no music. Starts like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're After Dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut you short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all through your speakers, go.
And what is up, Man Hour Nation? Michael Buckcusher here with the Man Hour. Be sure to head over to manhourradio.com. Check out that merchandise page. We got the Man Hour logo merch. We got the Beastie merch. We got the Team Buck merch. And of course, we got the new logo merch up there on this side of the screen right there. Yeah, that beautiful Man Hour logo there. Designed by yours truly here. Yes, it is a little tinkering here and there, but bada bing, bada boom, it is there. Guys, we are part of Belly Up Sports, so you can find us on bellyup.tv and, of course, Apple TV, Roku TV, and coming soon, YouTube TV as well. But guys, if you are new here to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/Man Hour, be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, because sharing is caring, and also share this to a couple friends. Like, obviously, we do have a great show for you lineup today. Devontae Parker has officially become a New England Patriot. We're going to talk a little bit of AFC East, the quarterback competition that is going there. We got Way or No Way coming up as well. And then, of course, we got an interview with my man from the corner booth, Jared. So Jared from the corner booth will join us here in about a half hour right here on the Man Hour. So sit back and relax for that. Just be prepared. My kids went wild during that little segment. So simmer down now, simmer down now, simmer down now. But guys, buckle up here. Devontae Parker has officially been sent to the New England Patriots for a fifth-round pick this year in 2022 NFL draft was 3 weeks away, right? And a 2023 draft third rounder. This trade kind of, it doesn't surprise me too much here because Tyreek Hill obviously was picked up by the Miami Dolphins, and Devontae Parker was kind of the odd man out in the end because you have Jalen Waddle and you have Tyreek Hill. Now, Devontae Parker did have a breakout season in 2019, 72 catches for 1,202 yards. He obviously led the team, and he was doing good things down there in Miami. But since then, since that 2019 breakout season, he has only monstered up 103 catches for 1,308 yards the last 2 seasons. Now, granted, look who the quarterbacks have been the last 2 seasons, right? Obviously, Ryan Fitzpatrick is no barn burner by any means, right? And then Tua, we don't know what we're going to get with him. Obviously, this year is a big proving ground for Tua. But at the end of the day, Devontae Parker is now a New England Patriot, and he gets added to this. Look at this wide receiver core that is happening over here. That's quietly being built in New England. We have Kendrick Bourne, Nelson Aguilar. Yes, he was not very, very good in black and silver or in Philadelphia, but last season he kind of came into his own a little bit. We have Jacoby Myers, that young stud that's happening over there. The Patriots pick up Ty Montgomery from the Saints, right? He can play running back / wide receiver. And then you have the two-headed monster at tight end at Hunter Henry and Jonnu Smith. So, guys, quietly, this New England Patriots wide receiver core looks pretty solid. Now, it is not going to be the high-flying like the Kansas City Chiefs or the Raiders or anybody just like that. But this is exactly a Bill Belichick-esque type of wide receiver core, a bunch of guys that kind of have been overlooked, kind of like we use that term loosely here, overlooked, maybe undervalued, and they're going to put together a nice solid core and a second-year quarterback in Mac Jones. Look for the New England Patriots to do some pretty good things this year, guys. Like, I am pretty excited to see what they can do. And when we look at the AFC East, the first place is kind of up for grabs, and I'm leaning toward a second-year Mac Jones and the New England Patriots with the addition of Devontae Parker here to make some big leaps and bounds. They were a playoff team last year. Everybody counted them out, but they were a playoff team last year. So think about another year under Bill Belichick, a full offseason for Mac Jones, spring ball, summer ball, right? And we still have the draft. So the New England Patriots could be pretty deadly, guys. Also on the flip side of that coin, we look at the Miami Dolphins receiver core. They do now have Jalen Waddle, obviously their first round pick from last year. Tyreek Hill, the $120 million man himself. Trent Sheffield, Cedric Wilson, another Kansas City shun guy there from a couple years ago. Yes, Cedric Wilson, I think he's been with Miami. It's 3 years now. This is going on his third year. But looking at the Miami receiver core, it doesn't look as eye-popping now that Devontae Parker is no longer there, right? But only time will tell if that Tua to Tyreek Hill connection can happen. If Jalen Waddle can take big leaps and bounds coming up here in the second season as well. But the AFC East now, the AFC East obviously consists of the Buffalo Bills, the Miami Dolphins, the New York Jets, and the New England Patriots. When we sit back and we look at what is happening now in the AFC East, This is quietly becoming a very, very challenging division for the Buffalo Bills. This division is quietly becoming maybe one of the second best divisions in the AFC, obviously behind the AFC West, because the AFC South is, I mean, they're no slouch by any means. Yes, they still got the Colts and the Titans, but I think the Titans are going to take a step back this year. The Colts are still going to be right around the 500 mark. The Jaguars are the Jaguars, and the Texans are just a dumpster fire. And then we look at the AFC North, and we don't know what we're going to get with Deshaun Watson and the Cleveland Browns. The Pittsburgh Steelers are kind of in limbo, like at this point. We don't know who their quarterback is going to be. Well, they have Mitchell Trubisky, but is he the answer for long term here? We have the Ravens. I think we all know what I feel about Lamar Jackson. And then you have the Cincinnati Bengals. You know, they are probably going to take a few steps back this season. So I think the AFC East is quietly becoming the second best division in football, but the Jets will finish in last place. The Miami Dolphins, yes, guys, you can have all the pieces that you want. You guys are still going to be finished third in that division. The Buffalo Bills come in at number 2. Yes, I know, Bills fans. I know it. You guys all are up in arms about all these pieces that you've added and Von Miller and this. I get it. Prove it to me, right? Yes, I know you guys have Josh Allen. Josh Allen is a great talent. Probably the second best quarterback in the AFC, if not the best quarterback in the AFC. But prove it to me. New England Patriots will take this division this year because they have proved it over and over and over and over again. Yes, Tom Brady is gone, but Mac Jones fit in that role just nicely. Just nicely, guys. So, with that being said, guys, we are up against the first break here on the Man Hour. On the other side of the break, we have the infamous Way or No Way. If you guys need that morning shock, that morning little click in that link description below. Shocked Energy is powering Man Hour here on Man Hour AM, guys. Get it going. We'll be right back here on the Man Hour.
I'm home from work and relaxing.
I watch Man Hour while doing dishes.
In bed, hiding from your wife and kids.
What do you do when your husband and kid are obsessed with the Man Hour? You watch it with them.
Have you ever wanted to go to Vegas to see the NFL draft? Well, now you can. Simply head over to youtube.com/Man Hour. Click on that join button, become a $5.99 member or higher, and you get free entry. Simple as that. So head over to youtube.com/Man Hour and hit that join button. You won't regret it.
You're watching Man Hour. Hit that like button, baby.
Man Hour Nation, it's your boy BC Beastie Brandon Combs coming to you with a special message. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. That's 22 too many. And here at the Man Hour, we want to bring awareness to this. Our brothers and sisters deserve our support and our help. With the Take 22 merch, it's a small opportunity to show our appreciation and support to our veterans and take a small step to ending veteran suicide and treating PTSD properly. Every dollar spent on our Take 22 merch will be donated to the cause. So Man Hour Nation, rise up and show your support.
Man Hour Nation brought to you by Brooks Roofing and Siding. Contact them at 812-868-7663 or online at brooksroofingin.com. Brooks Roofing and Siding, protection you need when nature strikes.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckcasher here with the Man Hour. You can find me up on Twitter at manhour_buck. You can also find us live right here on youtube.com/Man Hour every Monday through Friday at 6 a.m. East Coast time, 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. East Coast time right here on youtube.com. But of course, if you miss any part of the show whatsoever, you can find us on Spotify, iTunes, and of course, iHeartRadio. Or if you like the visual aspect of it, the nice visual interaction, we are on bellyup.tv at 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. East Coast time. 2 different shows, so if you guys have missed Man Hour anytime during the last Sunday through Friday, check it out over there. bellyup.tv. You can also find them on Roku TV and Apple TV as well. Simply search Belly Up Sports. 3 words there, Belly space up spot sports. Download that and tell Man Hour sent you. So guys, it is Monday here. Happy Monday. Let's get the week started off right, guys. Have a great week. It's April 4th here. It's going to be a fantastic day. And each Monday here on the Man Hour, about this time of day, we do way or no way. If you guys simply have a way or no way, hit me up on Twitter at manhour_buck. Slide into those DMs. It is open. Or you can at me at manhour_buck with the hashtag way or no way. It will get it on air. Way or no way is a very, very simple game. You give me a statement, and I tell you if it's way or no way. Fact or crap, as some people like to say, but we do way or no way here. So I don't have the graphics and sound effects all set up yet here. So bear with me on this, but it is Championship Monday. Duke, it's not Duke. Sorry guys. Sorry, Blue Devils. We have the Tar Heels taking on the Jayhawks. University of North Carolina taking on the University of Kansas. Isn't it weird that Kansas goes by KU, like Kansas University, but on all their billboards and stuff, that's University of Kansas? I just thought that was kind of weird. But the first way or no way comes from my man Trace over there on the old Twitter machine. He tweeted at me at manhour_buck. And he says, Buck, way or no way? UNC beats KU in the Roy Williams Bowl tonight. Ooh. So North Carolina is an 8th seed. Kansas is a 1 seed, if I'm not mistaken. Tar Heels beat Duke by 3 points on Saturday night. Kansas dominated Villanova by 12 points or whatever it was. Or it might have been 20. I think it was 81-63 was that final. Kansas looked like a dominant team. And me being a K-State guy myself, Kansas State University Wildcats bleed that purple from Kansas. It makes me kind of vomit in my mouth every time I talk about Kansas. Let's just be flat out honest about it. I don't like the red and blue. I don't like them. I don't like Bill Self. I don't like Roy Williams. I don't like anything Kansas stands for. They steal our coaches. They lock them in closets. They beat the kids. Whatever. Way or no way? UNC beats Kansas tonight in the Roy Williams Bowl. No way. Sorry, that just made me sick. But no way. Kansas is going to dominate North Carolina tonight, guys. Sorry to say it, but Kansas looks like a man, or not man, a team on a mission right now. Yes, they squeaked by Providence. Yes, they squeaked by not Miami. Who else did they play? Can't even think of the other team that they played, but they've been dominant form since they dominated Miami in the Sweet 16. They dominated Villanova on Saturday. Kansas is going to win by 12 plus points. The Kansas Jayhawks are going to beat North Carolina Tar Heels in this Roy Williams Bowl by 12. Why is it called the Roy Williams? Because Roy Williams coached at both Kansas and North Carolina, for people that don't know that. So that is why we're referring to it as the Roy Williams Bowl. So guys, just, there you go. Next way or no way comes from the old Twitter machine at manhour_buck. They use hashtag way or no way. Buck, way or no way? With Major League Baseball opening day being 3 days away, people are way overexcited for opening day. Baseball opening day is kind of like NFL opening day. Actually, no. Baseball opening day is one of the most exciting days in sports world. So the answer to that question is no way. People are not over excited about it because it is exciting. Because when that first pitch in the baseball opening day happens, spring is here. Like, we officially have spring fever. Right? It is supposed to be nice outside, even though it's snowing outside right now here in Indiana, which is stupid. But it is supposed to be nice outside. You're supposed to get a rebirth. You are supposed to get excited about life again, right? All the gloom and dory of the last 3 months with that snowing and icing and being crappy, and Valentine's Day, if you're single, it sucks, and New Year's Eve I think is overrated, and Christmas and all that. Yeah, I do like Christmas, but like past Christmas, like it sucks until now. Like, opening day for baseball it's like boom, spring is here. It is time to get excited. So no way people are not overexcited about opening day, but once opening weekend is over, baseball kind of goes back to the back burner again. Unfortunately, NBA kind of takes over because the playoffs start here in a couple weeks, right? We have the draft coming up. We have the NFL off-season. Unfortunately, guys, NFL will trump Major League Baseball even in the off-season until about All-Star break time, and then people started getting excited about baseball again. So after the All-Star break, people will get excited about baseball like again. But no way, you cannot be overexcited for opening day. Come on, man. Next up, coming on the way or no way. This one come from a Facebook group. So if you guys have Facebook, you can find us on facebook.com/manhoursports. We have a bunch of groups over there. We have trash talk groups for all sports, and then divisionals and NFL and teams and like all that other stuff. So this one says, way or no way, the Steelers have to draft a quarterback in this year's draft. So this is interesting because the Pittsburgh Steelers did pick up Mitchell Trubisky this year from the Buffalo Bills on a 2-year kind of prove it deal, right? I talked to my man Jared from the corner booth here, as you guys will see that see that segment coming up here very, very shortly. When we think of the Pittsburgh Steelers, we think of a team that has their shit together, right? They've had like 3 coaches in 50 years, right? They've had the same quarterback forever and Ben Roethlisberger, 18 years, and before that, they had Cordell Stewart for a pretty long time. So the Pittsburgh Steelers are like our team that kind of has their shit together. It seems like. So when they traded for Mitchell, or they picked up Mitchell Trubisky in free agency, it was kind of eye-raising to a fact that the Pittsburgh Steelers see something in Mitchell Trubisky, right? They are just not going to pick up a quarterback just to pick up a quarterback because they don't think Mason Rudolph is the guy, which I don't think he is. So Mitchell Trubisky has been to the playoffs twice with the Chicago Bears. He had a 12-4 season, right? He had a very lackluster relationship with their head coach, as we come and find out. So I'm going to say no way on this. I don't think the Pittsburgh Steelers have to draft a quarterback this season to be successful by any means. But if they were to draft a quarterback, it would be good for the quarterback to go to the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Pittsburgh Steelers have a team that is set. They are literally a quarterback away to kind of being that front runner again back in the North, right? Yes, I know we have the Browns and the Ravens and whatnot still, but the AFC North is loaded. But the Pittsburgh Steelers are a team ready to strike right now. They'll be just fine with Mitchell Trubisky at the helm. But if they were to draft a Malik from Liberty, or the kid from Old Miss Connor, right? It would be a great opportunity for them to sit a year. Yes, I know Soup Boss is like out there. Oh, the quarterback doesn't need to sit for a year. But it would be great for them to sit behind Mitchell Trubisky, push him, and we'll see what we really got from Mitchell Trubisky and a drafted quarterback. So they don't have to draft a quarterback this year. So no way on that. But it definitely wouldn't hurt them to draft a quarterback either. So give me a hashtag waffle in the chat, because I definitely waffled around that answer, but it's definitely a no way. They don't have to draft a quarterback this year. Next one here. So, full disclaimer on this one. I do not hate women's sports. Okay, I don't hate it. My wife played volleyball and basketball in college. She beats me on the court damn near every day, right? I don't hate women's sports. I watch high school basketball all the time, girls basketball and tennis, and so I just want to put that out there. But this one comes from the old Twitter machine at @manhour_buck with the hashtag way or no way. This one comes from Trent. South Carolina versus UConn made you like women's college basketball? No way. This one is a complete no way, unfortunately. I do not like watching college women's basketball on ESPN or whatever. Like, I will watch it live. Like, I will go to a game and like, I'll watch it, but I will not go out of my way to watch a women college basketball game. South Carolina did beat UConn 64-49 in their second ever championship, which is congratulations for them. They were a very dominant team all year. I did get an opportunity to watch them when they played Kentucky. And like we got to watch the game live. It was a very, 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 very fun game. But South Carolina had 49 rebounds. UConn had 49 points. Like, it was just. I don't want to go into this. Like, no way. I don't want to go out of my way to watch women's sports. WNBA, basketball. Now, I will watch volleyball. I enjoy volleyball. We had what's her face from Kentucky on it. Her name slipped on my mind right now. She was the SEC Player of the Year 2 years ago. But yeah, I mean, college volleyball is very enjoyable to watch. Me and my wife watched the whole SEC and the Big Ten tournament, and then the NCAA tournament. It was a lot of fun, but I'm also not going to go out of my way to watch it though either. Does that make sense? So no way on this one, unfortunately. So final way or no way of the day, LeBron James. LeBron James is the GOAT. Let's just say it is here right now. LeBron James is the GOAT. But they hit me up on Twitter at @manhour_buck with the hashtag way or no way. LeBron James' career is over. Way or no way? So guys, LeBron James has been playing basically every other game, right? The Lakers are two games out of the play-in game, or for the play-in tournament behind the Spurs. LeBron James is 37 years old, still averaging about 40 minutes a game. No way his career's not over. Look what he's done in the last, in the month of March here. So we'll throw April in there too. He had 38 points on April 1st. Then he had 39, 38, 38, 36, and he had a 19-pointer. That was kind of a odd game out there. Then 30, 31, and then a 50-pointer, 23 and 56, 26, 26. LeBron James is still playing at a very high level. Yes, he's playing every other day, but LeBron James knows that the Lakers are out of this chance to make it to the postseason, right? He knows that there is no sense of breaking down his body on back-to-back games when, hey, I can play 40 minutes, sit for 40 minutes, right? Like, he knows his body. LeBron James is just like Tom Brady. He will spend millions upon millions of dollars in the postseason taking care of his body, getting him right for the next season. Now, LeBron James last year did have his first ever, injury that I can recall that he was out for multiple games, right? Or hell, he was almost out for a month with that growing or whatever it was. But no way LeBron James's career is over. He has flat out said that he wants to play with his son. Well, his son's a sophomore, I think, maybe a freshman. Either way, there are 4 or 5 years left in LeBron James' career, just because the GOAT decides when he wants to go. It is what it is. We'll be right back here, guys, on Man Hour.
I give a slight edge, Mike, to Marquette because they're playing on their home court. And Marquette's been taking care of business on the road. Are you ready for the best damn radio show on the planet? Man Hour Nation, rise up.
Every time, though. I would like to personally welcome you to Man Hour After Dark. Say that why I bring you the host, Mike, Buck, and Cole. You know they don't want to talk to what you about to hear right now. I second that.
So, you know that it's us when we talk about sports. Giving you facts on the field to the court. Tune in, we need the support. 1 hour too short, to listen to all. Your station not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas. Station not dropping no music. Stripes like Adidas, but Nike just do it. Down 4 in the 4th, we go for the win. Michael 2 seconds, we taking it in. Buck, Mike, and Combs, you know what's going on. Man, now we're after dark, no LA, we the big spark. No 4th and inches won't cut short. Got the best talking, it's all sports. Buzzing more than buzzer beaters. We coming live all 3 speakers, go.
You're watching Man Hour. Hit that like button, baby.
Man Hour Nation, it's your boy BC Beastie Brandon Combs coming to you with a special message. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. Now, that's 22 too many. And here at the Man Hour, we want to bring awareness to this. Our brothers and sisters deserve our support and our help with the Take 22 merch. It's a small opportunity to show our appreciation and support to our veterans and take a small step to ending veteran suicide and treating PTSD properly. Every dollar spent on our Take 22 merch will be donated to the cause. So Man Hour Nation, rise up and show your support.
And welcome back to the Man Hour, guys. Michael Buckasher here with a special guest from the corner booth, Mr. Jared himself. Jared, what's going on today, man?
Mike, thanks for having me, brother. I appreciate it.
Well, first things first, tell the people what corner booth is all about.
Well, the corner booth basically, guys, is a place where guests come on and they crack a beer and they talk like they would at a sports bar. Basically, my thought was, why are all these radio shows and all these podcasts, every athlete acts like they've got a stick up their butt, right? They really have, like, they're all like uptight. There's no real authenticity. So about 3.5 years ago, me and a co-host of mine decided, hey, let's start a podcast where people actually can be themselves and talk and crack a beer and just enjoy themselves. So 3 years ago, the corner booth was born, and now it's kind of grown its own animal. It's going almost done with season 7. Season 8 will start August 1st for the NFL season, so it should be a good time.
Yeah, so that's exactly what the Man Hour is we are just live, raw, and uncut, and we speak what's on our mind, and we don't really give two shits about what you think about it. So we are going to have you on here, basically just to speak whatever you want to talk about. Obviously, you are a college basketball guy, and some stuff has happened with the college basketball, and your anxiety was through the roof this weekend, as you said pre-show. Yeah. So let's talk a little bit about that. What are your initial thoughts of the Final Four?
Well, so I was a little disappointed. I wanted a UNC Villanova rematch because that Chris Jenkins jump shot back in 2016 was one of the darkest nights of my life. That, if people don't remember, North Carolina Villanova 2016, Marcus Page, it's a game tying 3. Chris Jenkins in overtime hits the game winner at the buzzer, and I just sat there like in shock. And then it was cool for Villanova, but every time I see that moment, I still picture it. So I wanted a rematch, obviously, between North Carolina and Villanova, and also the two underdogs, better for betting odds, obviously. But yeah, Kansas is just they have all NBA guys, and Villanova's got a bunch of fifth-year seniors. So honestly, that game was kind of blah. I watched 20 minutes of it, and I was like, this is getting really boring because, like, I'm watching Villanova just get outclassed. It looked like It looked like a team like I don't even like Phoenix, Minnesota, or one of these like actual good playoff NBA teams playing a bottom feeder squad like Houston. It looked like they were outclassed. So, but last night at 8:50 till about 11:30 last night was probably one of the greatest college basketball games I've ever seen between Duke and North Carolina. That game was back and forth. I think the largely Duke had was 7 and the largely North Carolina had was 6, which is what I think the final score was. Up until that final shot by Caleb Love, I think that the game was neck and neck. And then that 3-pointer by Love at the end, if you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's on every social media site that exists on Twitter, Instagram, whatever.
It was a beautiful shot.
It was a dagger. It was just like the place erupted. I have a buddy who works for Barstool Sports and a few other spots. He was in the arena. He goes, dude, the place erupted. And a couple thoughts, like one, Caleb Love, I said this to a friend of mine this morning in the gym. I said, this kid is Kobe Bryant-esque, where it's like, it's effortless, and he's got no fear, and he hits shots.
Sure come on, man. Kobe Bryant.
Bro, listen, it's the type. It's not he is going to be Kobe Bryant. He's Kobe Bryant-esque. When I say, like, because I'll talk about this a little bit with my draft comparisons and everything else, but I look at guys for the prototype they fit.
Okay.
They're not going to be just that. Like, when I was in college, I said Andrew Wiggins had Tracy McGrady-esque, like, talent. But did he have Tracy McGrady's killer instinct? No. So it unfortunately, like, these guys, they get these comparisons. People automatically think, oh, that's their be all end all comparison. No, they're a prototype. So Caleb Love, to me,
I follow you.
A lanky, athletic, polished shooting guard with freak athleticism and a dagger of a jump shot and no fear when he shoots. And so that's why I'm like, oh, this. And I watched this guy take 2 dribbles, 3 steps to the basket and glide around 2 guys trying to take a charge and hit a layup. And I'm just like, that's just unhuman athleticism and grace and like ability. And I watched him basically just be the dagger in the side of him and Brady Maddock, who, oh my God, that man was like a roller coaster of emotions, missing free throws, bad fouls, but then hits a clutch tying 3. This North Carolina team's an anxiety attack. That's all it is.
Yeah. So let's flash back to Kansas here a little bit. Me being a Kansas State fan, I know all about the KU Jayhawk crap, and I'm a K-State alum. So the hatred for Kansas in me is pure and to the bone. But when I saw Kansas on the floor last night, I'm like, they are going to win the national championship. They look so damn good. And I know you are a North Carolina guy, but I don't think North Carolina can compete with Kansas.
Here's my thing, though. It's like, that was my thought last night. I was like, okay, maybe we might be a little class. Kansas has such great talent, but so did Duke. Duke has 4 guys who are going to be drafted in the next 2 years in the top 10. Kansas 2 guys as well. The game that kind of stuck out to me was, well, one, Villanova, but when they I think it was Elite 8, Sweet 16, Kansas squeaked by whoever they were playing, and it wasn't even a good roster. Right. And I'm looking at I'm watching the game. I'd have to go back and look, but I'm watching the game, and I'm thinking to myself, what am I missing here with Kansas? Because I watched so much college basketball in my life. I only watch it for 2 months out of the year. I will never lie to anybody. I say late February to early March is when I watch college basketball. Before then, the NFL takes center stage, and it will always take center stage in my heart. But with Kansas, they just didn't look like this. Oh, Providence, who never played a high-level team the entire time up until the tournament, and Creighton gave them a run too. It's like there was never any pull-away games where I'm like, okay, this team is gonna blow everybody out. And when I watch like teams like Duke would rely on the refs to win against Texas Tech. Well, that's a whole nother story. I knew that was gonna happen.
Yeah.
And what was it? Hubert Davis last night almost got ejected because he kept yelling at the refs like they're not calling the fouls straight. Like everything's like off and on. So what bugs me about I think Kansas is the best team in the tournament besides Arizona talent-wise.
Yeah.
And I throw Baylor in there too, even though, we may or may not have, we're stomping Baylor until they started ejecting our players back in the round of 32. But what cracks me up about this Kansas North Carolina game is, one, it's the Roy Williams Bowl. It is St. Roy's 2 teams. But also, what cracks me about Kansas is they just don't play like they're a team. They play like it's like a bunch of good players and they play ball, but it's like watching a pickup game. Like there's there's little things where I watch it and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's great. And that's freak athleticism. But I'm like, oh my God, that's not a team. That's 5 guys on the floor. And I've also never been a fan of Bill Self's coaching. I never have been, really. It's
Right.
with me, he's always had freak athletes. You can go all the way back to the days of the Mario Chalmers team that won it all. And when I look at that team, I sit there and I just don't. Bill Self's style has never translated to me to like, oh, they're gonna win every year. Like I was waiting for Kansas to be out in the 3rd round to Creighton.
Well, so like I get it. Like I get an opportunity to watch a lot of Kansas basketball, and they never blow people out in the first three rounds. They never do. They always squeak by. They play just well enough to survive and advance. And really, that's the name of the game in the March Madness tournament. If you think about it, because like we aren't going off of style points. Like it is not like you have to score 100 points to go to the Sweet 16, right?
Mm-hmm.
You just got to win. And so Kansas has saved themselves up to this point, and then they destroyed Villanova and
Miami.
Yeah, and Miami. And I do understand what you're saying about the Bill Self coaching style.
Yeah.
But his style translates so well to the NBA, and that's why they get those players year after year after year.
Yeah.
Just because when a Kansas player goes number 1 or goes in the first round, they normally translate to the NBA very, very well, and there's not that huge learning curve like North Carolina players or Kentucky players or Duke players.
Yeah, no, I'll admit, like the last North Carolina players the last couple of years it's been a rough transition, but like I think there's like 2 or 3 guys in this North Carolina roster who are going to be NBA. So I think Baycott and Caleb Love will be solid NBA players, obviously.
So
but
you think Caleb Love is going?
No,
to
he'll
declare?
probably. I think he's going to be an amazing NBA player. I think he's going to stay one more year though because he's still kind of raw. And I think the fact is like, I was talking to somebody today about this. These NIL deals now have changed all the game with the NBA because now players don't need to rush to the league to get paid.
Right.
So these guys will stay 2-3 years. They'll make all this money while they get to sit and relax and sit in class and everything else. They don't have the pressure of being a pro player. Then they go to the pros if they want to, but it's like there's no rush now. Like a lot of these guys I've noticed, like you said, a lot of this is the first year where NIL is in effect. I've seen more 2nd, 3rd, and 4th year players in the tournament this year, and it's kind of cool. There's a lot less one and dones, which is kind of a nice change to college basketball.
Right.
Because this is honestly the best tournament I've watched since I was a kid. Like the Tyler Hansborough, Gerald Williams from Duke. I think they had Wayne Simon back in the day for Kansas. I can't remember if that was the same year or not, but that 08, 07, 08, 09 tournament. I remember 07, 08 was a good one too. Like all those tournaments back when I was younger, those I remember were being elite tournaments. But then once like we got past like the Anthony Davis was the first year of where like, okay, one and dones are running, and college basketball felt kind of off. But now like this year was just like every game was electricity. There were only a few blowouts. So like it was really fun. So
well, if you look back in 2007 and 2008, you could go directly to the NBA still. So that's why that's why you had those 2, 3 year, 4 players still.
I think now that like guys, now that money's involved in college, guys don't care. They'll play 2-3 years because college is fun. Like college basketball is fun for these guys. Where the NBA, it's a business and they know it. They screw up their contracts up. So I guess the biggest thing for me is that when I watch this game with Monday's game, before we talk, I drop my hot take about this year's quarterback class. I look at this game from the fact that North Carolina plays 7 guys total, 2 stretch 4s off the bench, and then a bunch of rotation guys, and then the starting 5. And what it works for him is these guys are the most well-conditioned team in basketball. And Armando Bacot is the key to this game because if he can stop Hoop McCormick, who is a freak. I watched this man dominate. But then again, Villanova and Miami, one thing I will say about those games, whether they're blowouts, they don't have a dominant big.
Very true, yes.
Where Armando Bacot broke like 3 ACC records in rebounding the last 3 games. I will not say he's a dominant big, but I'll say he's a little Duke and North Carolina are more built to beat a Kansas team than, say, a Villanova, a Houston, or whoever, or even a Gonzaga, because I don't consider Chet Holmgren an actual big man. I just consider him slender man with a jump shot. So I think the biggest thing with Kansas, North Carolina is going to be the guard play. Can Kansas keep up with RJ Smith and Caleb Love? Because if those two get hot and start rolling and start hitting threes, it's a big problem for Kansas, because they're not going to be when they can slow the game down, get it into McCormick, let him dominate. It's going to be fun. But if Baycott's ankle is even 80% by Monday, this is going to be an epic game.
Yeah, it's like I am definitely looking forward to this game 100%. Who do you got winning the game?
I would love it's weird for me, right? So I would love to take Kansas because it's a safe pick. It would make me look like just a smart journalist, because I'm going above my bias as a Tar Heels fan, because I've been watching the Tar Heels since Rashad McCants, Sean May, and Marvin Williams. I even watched like old highlights of Vince Carter when I was like a 5-year-old, right? So, but I think North Carolina is the team of destiny, man. I really think they are. Like they just like, there's this old saying. It's like you play like championship teams find ways to win. North Carolina has had the weirdest tournament of all time, and they just find ways to pull it out. It makes no sense how they do it, but they do. Like against Baylor, when we went to overtime, they were on the ropes. Like Baylor had them gone. They were done. And then a bench player hits a 3-pointer off the bat. I can't remember the kid's name right now. Hits a 3 in the first possession. Then North Carolina kicks Baylor's teeth in for the next 5 minutes of overtime. It wasn't even close. But when that game stopped at the end of regulation, everyone thought Baylor had this. It was over. So, and then against UCLA, they kept hanging around, and at the last minute pull ahead. And to me, with North Carolina, they just had that just ability to, it doesn't matter who they're playing. Their team matches up well enough because they're built like an NBA roster. They have the big man who can move a little bit, the stretch 4, the athletic defender 3 who can cover multiple positions, and then they have the 2 guards who are dominant shooters, who are streaky and athletic. And it beats these teams who rely on 1, 2, 3 good players and a bunch of role guys. So if there was any team to be able to beat Kansas, it is North Carolina. I think it's going to be the closest game. I think this game could go to overtime. This is going to be like one of those crazy last possession kind of games. But I got to go with my gut, my heart here. UNC. I picked them on Thursday on my own show to beat Duke, and AJ from Sac City yelled at me for 5 minutes about how I was being a homer. And I said, listen, man, you got to realize, like, nobody cares about this Coach K retirement tour. This is all about wins, and North Carolina just wins, baby.
Yeah. I'm picking Kansas as much as that makes me sick. I'm picking Kansas by like 12. I think they are upset that, as my kids go crazy in the background, my fault. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so Kansas by 12. I think it's just going to be a total domination from point in to point out. So let's transition over to the NFL here. Just like a tad bit. We are 3 weeks away from the NFL draft, and the quarterback class I think is very, very weak. But you have other opinions, maybe?
Okay, so here's the deal about the quarterback class. The reason, and shout out to my boy Uke, he is Belly Up's draft scout. This kid and me have both been going crazy about evaluating these quarterbacks, and I have 3 guys in this class that I absolutely love, and 1 guy who I'm getting warmer on. The reason everyone's hitting on this class is because there's no big name stars. Okay, the top guy in this class is from Liberty. The next top guy, in most people's opinions, is from Pittsburgh. It's not like the last good quarterback to come out of Pittsburgh is Dan Marino. Right. So that's just everything you know right there. So there's no big name superstars. And that's why everyone's poo-pooing this class. But the problem is, like, it doesn't matter if they're from big programs. Like, these guys are good players. So first off, I think Desmond Ridder is going to sneakily be a great NFL starter because all he does is win. He has great anticipation. He does everything right. He has a B+ arm and A+ mobility, and he just makes it work. Second, my sleeper. This guy is going to be a great quarterback in this league. I don't know where he's going to go. He's not a first-year starter because his footwork is atrocious, but the dude has a Josh Allen arm and is just an absolute. He just has great deep ball presence and accuracy. It's Carson Strong out of Nevada. He is my number 2 quarterback on this list when I did my top 5 rankings, because I said I would rather have a guy who off his back foot can put it 60 yards in the bucket than a guy who has to wear gloves, has abnormally small hands, and runs a simple offense. I don't care what level they play at.
I get you. Yeah. I mean,
And then
that's very true. Yeah, very true.
And then the last one is like I love Malik Willis and I love Matt Corral. But Matt Corral to me is the higher upside because this dude played in an offense with pro guys against pro secondaries and lit them up like Christmas trees. And he's got the swagger, he's got the charisma like a Joe Burrow, like a Baker Mayfield did come out of college. But like Joe Burrow, he's got the mobility and he's got an absolute bazooka, Mike. It's not even like we worried about Baker because Baker ran a very play action heavy offense out of a spread. Lincoln Riley's offense makes any quarterback look good. But Matt Corral, every time I watch him play, it's just big, gutsy throws, splitting defenders, hitting guys in stride, and he just makes it look effortless. And I just, when I watch Matt Corral, I think Matt Corral, whichever team he goes to in the first or early second round, he will, if there's a chance to start, he will start early in this season. He's going to be the best quarterback in this class. I think Willis is going to have a great career. I just worry with Willis is that he's going to have too much expectations on him already. And he's going to have to be a solid starter, but it's going to be more or less like, will he have the drive and the ability to make the gutsy throws? But I think, honestly, there's three guys who honestly could be perennial starters in their division. I think, you could either do a split between Desmond Ridder and I'd say Carson Strong are kind of like the 50-50 guys, but then like Willis and Matt Corral could be the guy. So what cracks me up about everything in this class is that when I am watching these guys on tape, they look just as good as the guys that apparently we thought were all superstars last year. And last year's class was supposed to be the class of quarterbacks. Doug Peterson needs to resurrect Trevor Lawrence. And you have Justin Fields. You need basically he's still, I don't trust Justin Fields as an elite passer. I trust him as an elite athlete, and I think he's a decent quarterback, but he's not like an elite passer. And Matt Jones is going to be an okay game manager to me. It's not like I don't trust him to be an elite guy. We'll see what he does with Devontae Parker, who's the best receiver he's ever had in his life since college. This is the best pro receiver he's ever had. So, to me, the 2020 class with Herbert, Tua, Burrow, and Hurts, you don't get classes like that where you get 4 guaranteed starters right away.
Right.
Or 2018 when you had Baker, Lamar, Josh Allen. But I think this class, you're going to have 3 starters. And I think that everyone's just poo-pooing this because it is literally a class with no-name guys. But this isn't Geno Smith's class. This is actually a pretty decent talent class. And on tape, they all impress me. They all stand out. The only ones I don't like, I don't like Kenny Pickett because he just reminds me of Nate Peterman. He really does. Like a little more polished Nate Peterman.
Yeah.
And I look at Sam Howell. Sam Howell's a better armed Alex Smith. So he might be a good starter, but he's not going to go to a team who's going to give him a start right away. So to me, I think the 4 guys I mentioned, Strong, Willis, Ridder, and Corral, are going to have great shots to be decent starters in this league. And we may be talking about this actually was a surprise class.
Yeah, so on the flip side of that, a lot of teams don't need quarterbacks this year, to be totally honest, because the teams that needed quarterbacks got quarterbacks last year or in free agency. And this is a very wide receiver heavy class and a very defensive heavy class as well. So they could fall to teams that don't need quarterbacks now, i.e. the Colts, maybe the Cowboys. So, I mean, they could definitely have time to grow. What's wrong, man?
Hey, man, that's what happens when you have kids, man. You just it's a full-time job.
Yeah. They're WWF in here.
Nice.
But yeah, so
you're hyper WrestleMania tonight.
Yeah, so I mean they do have room to grow, which is good for them, which is positive, but I don't see any of them really having success.
I think in Carolina, off the rip, they need a quarterback. Obviously, they're not running with Sam Darnold or PJ Walker or the ghost of Cam Newton, whoever it is. Also, I look at Seattle. They might take a guy they might take a flyer on a Matt Corral or a Desmond Ridder because I don't trust Drew Lock. They don't trust Drew Lock, and they gotta see what they got. The other wild card here is Detroit. Apparently, my man MCDC douche douche biting kneecaps, brother. He loves Desmond Ritter. And Desmond Ritter in Detroit is a great combo. One, because Ritter's never had a receiver with DJ Chark's speed. You also have Amon-Ra St. Brown and Josh Reynolds, who are both great route runners and get open. TJ Hawkinson, who's a top 10 tight ends. And DeAndre Swift. Detroit, if Ritter can actually, and a good offensive line, if Ritter can honestly play any better than Jared Goff, which the benchmark is so low for how bad Jared Goff was last year, that they honestly could be a decent team. And I actually have them as my surprise team right now to be the last wild card spot in the NFC, because Minnesota got worse. Green Bay got worse, and Chicago got worse. So in my look right now, if Detroit has a good draft, they're a 10-7 team that sneaks in behind like the likes of like a Dallas or Philly as the first wild card slot, and then probably I'd say either Arizona would be the second one, maybe New Orleans. I don't know. It's like with Detroit, they have this. So I had Detroit. There was a Detroit guy on a YouTube show I watched that I can't remember the name of it right now, but he said there was 10 wins. He nailed them all down, and he goes, they're going to split with Minnesota, split with Chicago. They're going to beat Chicago or split them twice. And then I was looking at their schedule. There's easily 9 out of division wins, or maybe 8. I mean, yeah, you're going to lose to the Philadelphias of the world. You're going to lose to Green Bay twice. But I looked at them like, it's not a hard schedule. They're a 4th place team.
Yeah.
They're going to get they're going to get an elite edge rusher or an elite tackle at number 2. So, and then at 32, you're going to get a good quarterback prospect, because the only one who's going to be off the board is probably Pickett or Malik Willis, because some team's going to overreach on Pickett, and you're going to get either Corral, Ritter, or Carson Strong. And honestly, a half-ass quarterback can put up 30 touchdowns with that offense. So when I look at the Lions, I think they're the best spot for a quarterback should want to go to Detroit for the first time ever, because they're actually built to be a surprise team. They may not make the playoffs, but they're going to win 9 games this year, 10 games. And the other team, I think, so I already talked about Carolina because for obvious reasons. Pittsburgh's another one where Mitch Trubisky is there if they can't get a quarterback they like.
You think so?
Yeah. So Money Mitch, I think, has realized he's Andy Dalton. He's Ryan Fitzpatrick. He is going to fall into that role. I watched Trubisky in college as an ACC football fan. I watched him play. I was never sold on his ability. I was sold on his ability to extend plays, make good throws on the run, but in the pocket, I've never been sold on that or his arm strength. He's a good in-between quarterback if they can't find their guy this year. Malik Willis, I think, is their guy, and if they can get him at 20 or move up to go get him in the teens, that's their guy. Kenny Pickett, somebody's going to take a flyer on him like an idiot, and it's going to be hysterical watching him be Nathan Peterman 2.0. I think he's got a little more swagger than Peterman. He's a little better thrower and a little more athletic. Obviously, I think he's a little more amped up version of what Peterman was ability, because Narduzzi recruits a simple type of quarterback every time. But when I look at these guys, there's about 5 teams who could use a quarterback, and they may not on the surface appear like it. And the Colts, like you said, is another one. I think Matt Corral to the Colts is a home run, or Carson Strong to the Colts, because they sit a year or two behind Matt Ryan. They get acclimated to Frank Reich's system, and by 2024, they're rocking and rolling out the gate, ready to go. Or they're like and also another team that here's a sleeper team, right? You should think about. What do the Packers do? Not first round, obviously.
Yeah.
But second or third rounds, like clearly Jordan Love's not the guy, or else they wouldn't have gone all out for Rodgers. They're gonna try to move up to get a receiver, obviously, because they need somebody for Rodgers to throw the ball to. They're kind of like this weird mystery right now. So I don't know. The draft's going to be an odd, like that April 27th here on bellyupsports.com, courtesy of our boys over at MD's Fantasy. They're going to be doing this show. I will be on a couple other shows as well, but it's going to be a weird draft. I have no idea. Like, I'm doing a mock draft today for my show for Tuesday, and I don't know who I'm picking for like half the picks.
If the Packers draft a quarterback, Green Bay Packer fan base will go apeshit. They will.
I know, it's the best part.
I secretly hope hope now that they draft a quarterback in the first round.
I don't think they will, but I think second or third is very realistic. And it comes down to this. It's like, unfortunately, we know Jordan Love is not a good quarterback. Jordan Love needs more honing and more polishing and more coaching than possible because the problem is he's not going to get reps in Green Bay. He came in against Kansas City, and Kansas City gave him every opportunity to beat them, and he couldn't do it.
Yeah, the Chiefs defense at that particular time did start to step up and look a little bit better, so I give them that. And it was Jordan Love's first start ever, and he did get kind of thrown in the fire with like the Thursday before. So, like, he does have a little bit of, leeway there. I think Jordan Love needs to sit one more year, and like the pressure just needs to be off. Just like, hey, just sit here, just grow, soak up as much as you can, and spank these kids. And are you done, kid? There you go. But Jordan Love is a very big question mark, and unfortunately, he won't get the opportunity to really show his skills because Aaron Rodgers will be there for another 3 or 4
forever
years.
And ever. The second they sign, I think the thing with the Rodgers deal is, unless it goes the all 4 years, the Packers are screwed financially if that doesn't go all 4 years now, because the incentives on that deal and how everything's worded, they're gonna have to eat some serious salary cap. Like,
I think it's always like $40 million.
Yeah, they're gonna eat so much dead cap, and it's gonna destroy their franchise for 2 years. But what are you gonna do? It's the world we live in now. The team who's the most screwed with dead cap, if they end up moving on from it, is the Browns with Watson.
Yeah,
they better pray that there's nothing else coming from this, and he plays and he lights up for them, or they are hosed.
Yes, I secretly hope it's a bust, to be honest with you. But that is just me being a Brown hater and a Baker Mayfield fan at the end of the day. But Jared, thank you for being here with us today. Tell the people where they can find you and all that good stuff.
You can find me at this little handy corner right here. Jared, that is my personal Twitter and also my personal Instagram, Facebook, everything else. But you can also find my amazing show, Corner Booth Podcast, on @CornerBoothPod on basically every social media site. Good show this week. Our Thursday show, we have Brad from Unbearable Sports coming on. He's always a character. And mock draft show coming this Tuesday, should be dropped Wednesday morning. So appreciate you, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah, we do definitely love some mock drafts over here on the Man Hour, so be sure to check that out, guys. So, guys, we'll be right back here after the break. Stay tuned.